Welcome to the Property Guide. Thank you so much for joining in. This week we're focusing on what is India's largest real estate company building homes for you and me. We're talking about Lodha, and the young, dynamic managing director Abhishek Lodha joins me on the show. Abhishek,
hi.
Thank you for coming in, and congratulations. So it's been 2 years now, India's largest real estate company. That's quite an achievement.
Thank you, and congratulations to you for launching the channel.
we're at one of your show flats, and this is Trump Tower. And from what I understand, between World Towers and Trump Towers, you're actually going to change the face of Lower Parel and Central Mumbai. Tell us about these projects. Tell us what what we can look forward to.
The World Towers to us is India's and probably Asia's finest development of residences. It has the world's tallest residential building, World 1, and two other sister buildings, World Crest, which is now about to get ready, and then World View, which will come in later, with interiors by Armani and a host of other special amenities. We really think that it's not about changing the face of a particular area, because I think every part of Mumbai is special and should remain that way. But it's about bringing the best of what's across the globe to the city. At the World Towers, what we've done is we've built a 2-acre public park so that the city can really feel one with and enjoy a development and look up to it.
Which everybody can access?
Yes, everybody can access. And we've also put in a whole new road which was not required by the government, so that the traffic problems of the area can be, the area can be decongested and traffic can be addressed.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because I work out of this space and I know what it's like every morning at 9 and every evening at about 7. So if you're going to add those many units which will come with those many cars, what plans, how does any of that work?
Sure. So World Towers actually has a very low density. That's the beauty of having something which has a lot of space but very few units. But like I said, we put in a whole new road, over 1.5 kilometers of road inside our property, so that traffic can get decongested, doesn't pile onto the road, and our residents can actually use the alternative. There are 2 roads touching the site, so they use the road which is least congested and allows the other road, which is more heavily congested, for example, coming to your office, to not be burdened further by people.
Okay, so tell me this, both of these projects together, when they're complete and occupied, how many units are we talking about?
The World Towers will have a little over 500 units, and the Trump Tower has about 350 units.
Given everything that's being said about unsold inventory, slowing down sales, everything that's being written about this industry at this point, these are very, very ambitious projects. Do you believe there's enough demand for that high-end luxury in Mumbai at this point?
Well, Trump Tower was launched last year. It's about 50% sold. We are 3.5 years from delivery. World 1 and World Crest, the 2 towers amongst the World Towers, are 70-75% sold. I think what's more important is that how is inventory sort of looked at in any other industry, and how is real estate judged? Most other industries look at finished products. So in our case, to be ready units as inventory. And if you look across Mumbai, and anybody who's a home buyer in Mumbai knows, there are hardly any ready flats available. The challenge we have today is there are a lot of I would say, developers who are don't yet have the full repertoire of skills available to do real estate development. And every time they announce a project, that's counted as inventory. So if I was to walk along, say, I bought this property, I'm going to build 500 units, then it said that's inventory.
But okay, just to be fair, and I've done my homework, I know that the price for both World Towers and for Trump Towers is, on the negotiation table, come down maybe 3,000 rupees per square foot in the last 1 year or so.
I would be happy to, have somebody who's gotten that advantage. But the fact of the matter is that prices on a consistent basis for good quality real estate in Mumbai have moved up by 8 to 12%, on an average around 10%, which from a steady...
Even in this neighborhood?
Yes, in this neighborhood too. And from the basis of a steady asset, you've not seen any volatility. You've not had those nights where suddenly your property value is down 25%. From a steady asset, one which you can use as well as enjoy capital appreciation, there's been no asset like real estate, good quality real estate in good Indian cities for the last 10-15 years, which is the reason why for most of India's middle class, 50 to 70% of their personal wealth is in real estate.
Sure. In fairness, we know those numbers, but we also know what the analysts are saying about prices. I mean, yes, there is one school that uses the word crash and correction and things like that, but just to sort of find the middle ground of what analysts are saying about property prices, they're saying that we might not see the kind of growth we saw over the last 10 years, that it's actually going to soften, slow down, possibly be closer to the fixed deposit rates, at least for the next 5 years to come. Is that something you believe?
Our belief is that property should provide returns which are moderately higher than fixed deposits. It's as safe as fixed deposit, partially illiquid like fixed deposits are, and so plus it has the ability to be used.
Fixed deposit in a day.
You could and lose everything. You could do the same with real estate if you wanted to sell it quickly. No, the point being is that I think I'm nobody who can forecast prices. We are India's largest developer. We have a large amount of land that we've invested in. We have a large amount of construction we're doing because we believe in this market. We believe that the Indian economy is going to grow. We believe that the government is doing the right things in pushing our economy ahead. And with only 30% of Indians living in urban cities having their own home, there is a long way to go and a lot of demand to be met if India is going to become, an advanced nation anytime in the next 15 years.
Well, let's talk about the strength of the balance sheet at this point. The amount of debt that the real estate industry is carrying tends to, make a lot of people in the market nervous. At last check, you were at about 12,000 crore rupees. What is the debt on the books of Lodha at this point?
We have a total debt of 11,000 crores. Our total asset value of current projects under construction is over 40,000 crores. And if you take our total land, it was recently valued by an international valuer at about 11 billion US, which is about 80,000 crores.
So as management right now, you're comfortable with the level of debt?
We're very comfortable. We feel very good about where we are as a business, as India's #1 developer, entirely privately owned debt, which is less than the net receivables we have from customers.
There were a couple of
units.
outlook downgrades that happened in June.
There was one outlook downgrade, so it wasn't a ratings downgrade, which I'd like to clarify. It's an outlook downgrade from stable to negative. Thereafter, we've had 2 rating upgrades, where we've been moved up 2 notches from BBB plus to A minus by Fitch Ratings, India Ratings, which is Fitch's India counterpart, and then another rating agency in India. So really, I think the strength of our business and our ability to make sure that there is enough information available with the rating agencies gives them good clarity, and which is the reason why we've had the 2 rating upgrades.
You did, of course, look and consider an IPO.
In 2010.
In 2010.
Yes.
But it's been a tough market ever since for anybody considering the primary market. We haven't seen the primary market recover since then. What are your options right now to reduce debt? Because you were considering the IPO as an option to reduce debt. What are you looking at this point?
We aren't looking to reduce debt. We are more than comfortable. We as a company bring in 7,000 crores of cash flow last year, probably will be 7,000 crores this year. We generate 1,500 crores of free cash flow each year. Like I mentioned, one of the world's leading valuation agencies did a rating for our international investors, which valued our assets at over 11 billion US dollars. So on that base, having, on those cash flows and that asset base, having $1.5 billion of debt, we're very, very comfortable with.
All right. I want to ask you right now about the ease of doing business in the city of Mumbai. And tell us what the ease of doing business is like in terms of construction permits, in terms of getting work done. What kind of delays are you witnessing right now? Where are the areas of improvement?
I believe the government has done a lot. I would go back to almost 2012 when we had Mr. Subodh Kumar as new municipal commissioner in Mumbai, and he really cleaned up the system at that point in time, which for large developers who want to operate on scale like us, we want things clean, kosher. We don't want to have too many situations where Mr. X and Mr. Y can do different things. So we're very happy with the municipal approval system in Mumbai, and Thane and Kalyan Dombivli, and we operate in a number of different municipalities in other states too. So that we operate in Hyderabad, we operate in Pune, which is of course in Maharashtra. So I think the approval system throughout is largely straightforward. The rules are clean, and anyone who wants to operate within the rules can do it reasonably well.
Environmental clearances as well?
I think environmental clearances and other clearances are in addition to the municipal clearances. So I don't think it's a question that any one particular clearance is holding things up. It's just the total number of clearances. So we still require 50 clearances overall in the process of constructing a building. And just each of them takes its own time.
What is the average time spent from the time you start applying for your clearances to when you have all of those 15?
Well,
I know they happen at different phases of construction, but still.
Well, the industry considers Lodha to be quite out of the ballpark, if you may. We acquired the land from Clariant on 31st of December, and we started construction in June this year. So it's 6 months, and we got all our permits in place. But typically, the industry takes about 18 months.
If you were to put down a checklist for the government on things that can be improved as far as building permits are concerned, construction permits are concerned, what would be on that checklist? Give me the top 3 things to work on right now.
I think I don't have sort of a panacea solution. I think building permitting is different and difficult all across the world. We are working across the globe. We're doing work in great cities like London and Mumbai, and it's challenging everywhere. I think it's very important that the focus moves just from what is currently FSI into urban planning, townscaping, making sure public amenities are being built, making sure that there is a sensible bringing in of regulations as the industry is evolving. So I would say I won't think it's about easing things. I think it's about making sure that you start looking at more things and upgrade your outlook.
All right, speaking of urban planning, we're going to come back and talk about your Palava project, which is very interesting and something that our viewers will be interested in. Quick break. When we come back, we will talk about the mid and the affordable housing segment of Lodha. That's on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching Property Guide. We're in conversation with Abhishek Lodha. Abhishek, before we went into break, we talked about urban planning, cityscaping. I want to ask you about your Palava project. Also, it's interesting now because the Kalyan Dombivli Municipal Commissioner's Smart City win, which he's part now of that 100 list, 98 at least. So tell us what this means for the Palava project and what's inside that Palava project.
Sure. Palava started off in late 2009, early 2010. And over the last 5 years, it's evolved to be, really amongst India's finest places to live. We now have 24,000 homes sold. We have about 13,000 families who've already started taking possession of their homes and have started living over there. And really everything one could hope for. There are 2 operational ICSE schools. There's a golf course, a FIFA standard ground, the cricket ground, we have the mall opening soon, so on and so forth. Really, what's really happening over there is what if you take a parallel example of Gurgaon, yes, which evolved from 1980s, early 80s to about 2005 in a slow way. That 25-year journey, Palava has covered in 5 years. And the Prime Minister has given a great push to urbanization. He was talking about smart cities, and quite frankly, Palava has been planned as a smart city from the start, and is truly India's first greenfield smart city. This city will eventually be home to 20 lakh people, over 4 lakh jobs. So it really is a city in every sense of the word. So a lot of new infrastructure is coming in. We're doing a lot of development, office space, housing, retail, sports facilities, schools. And we really think that we're going to set a great example of how urbanization can be done even in Indian cities which look chaotic or are difficult to live in. But like Gurgaon was to Delhi, I think Palava is going to, at a much faster pace and with much more governance and a much more high quality infrastructure laid in, really going to change the paradigm of what it is to live in the Mumbai metropolitan region.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you this, but there's a fair amount of buzz on the social networking websites about delays in Palava and things like that. What's your response to all of that?
I think I would invite everybody who has a concern to come and see it. I think the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and the proof of a project is in seeing.
Okay. Yeah, we've also seen, a very heartening uptick in the commercial space over the last 1 year, especially in the 4 or 5 top cities or the top markets that you operate in. Is the commercial space something that you're looking at very strongly now, because you have some sort of commercial construction coming up in a space like Palava? So going forward for Lodha, is that something you're considering?
Yeah. We do about about 10 to 15 lakh square feet of commercial space each year, just because we do a lot more residential. Our residential tends to overshadow it, and we really think the commercial market is slowly coming into being, and it tends to be a leading indicator to residential demand also, because as jobs are created, then residential demand comes in. We think the commercial component of our business will probably go up to about 15 to 20% of our overall business over the next couple of years. A lot of office space is going to get constructed in Palava. At New Cuff Parade, we're doing really an iconic office building with one of the leading brands in the world, which we'll announce soon. And we're doing a number of smaller other office developments across town.
Let's talk about your New Cuff Parade project. I mean, it's starting to now, come together. The metro station, is now a reality as well. That's something that was waited for a very, very long time. Tell us what sales have been like. How far away are you from completion? What projects are you? What towers are you handing over? What's going on in that project?
New Kafred is part of MMRDA's other large development. They're doing BKC, and then they're doing this, what they call the truck terminus in Varala, where there are no trucks, but that's what it was called 20 years ago. It's the most connected piece of Mumbai in terms of transportation infrastructure. You have the monorail, which you alluded to, which has started off, and now its connectivity to Lower Parel is completing, I believe, in the next 6 odd months. So you see from the western side BKC, from the south of the city Fort, and then you of course have the Eastern Express Highway going from just past it. So it really is the most connected part of town. We have 4 towers which are completing in 2016, including one which has a Philippe Starck interior design, as well as 3 other towers. Our clubhouse, which is, we believe, one of the largest or luxury clubhouses in the country, about more than 75,000 square feet. That's starting operation mid next year. And really we feel that it's the best value in the island city of Mumbai. It is within the island city of Mumbai, not in the Mumbai suburban area. And it probably is the best value both from an investment perspective, which is why I think 2 years ago when Knight Frank did its 5-year projections on price increases, it said that the prices at New Kafred in that area would increase by the highest amount amongst any place in the whole country. And we really are excited about that location.
How much inventory is left in New Kafred? Because when I say inventory, and since there's a debate
under construction, under construction stock, I think of our first four towers, we are about 85% sold, so about 15%.
Let's also talk about the fact that you had a couple of large exits on your management team happen not so long ago, both the CFO and the CMO, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us what the strength of the management team is right now. How have you brought stability back after those massive exits?
I would want to point out that Lodha is 4,000 people. We have the best management team in the country in real estate, bar none. And as a part of any corporate evolving, growing and developing, you have people moving in and people moving out. Before the CFO left, we already had our planned CFO, the new CFO in. So quite frankly, the transition was more than smooth. And the other position of the CMO is in the process of being filled.
All right. And do you foresee a time somewhere down the line, but more and more real estate developers become more corporate, that CEOs will run these companies and it will stop being such a family business?
Of course. Within our organization, management and ownership are completely segregated. I feel that we choose, our board is largely independent. We have some of the finest directors in corporate India, even though we're not a listed company. And we choose our management, including who manages the overall company or the CEO, purely on the basis of merit. If a family member has the merit, they're welcome to do it. If a family member doesn't have the merit, we are more than happy bringing in anybody who has the best merit to run the company, because as shareholders of the company, what we want is maximization of our value and maximum enhancement of our reputation. So we will give it, and we would hope that whoever is best qualified will do that.
Let's also talk about the other projects that you have in places like Thane. You have projects in Bangalore, you have projects in Pune. Tell us what sales have been like this year so far. And if you have any sort of offers for the viewers who are watching for the festive season, is there something that, and you've also been a company that sort of pioneered marketing of real estate in a very, very different way. So given the festive season and the fact that that's coming up, is there anything that's up for offer that's special, that's not on the board right now?
Ultimately, quality counts. We've seen a great flight to quality in the last 3 years, which is the reason why Lodha has done better and better each year. The first 5 months of this year, we did over 3,000 crores of sales, which is our best ever start to a financial year. Typically, the second half tends to be much stronger because the festival seasons start after September. So we've done better and better on an ongoing basis on account of the fact that people want quality. So viewers, whether they're in Mumbai, we'd of course want them to buy at Lodha, or in Pune or Hyderabad, but in any other city in town, buy quality. Buy from the developer who you know is credible, is passionate, concerned about their reputation, has the skills to deliver and execute. And that is what is going to enhance in value over time. So take advantage of the fact that prices have been, not zooming along, but have only been mildly going along for quality projects. Take advantage of these lowering of interest rates. Take a floating home loan so that you can take advantage of rates going down in the future, and buy now.
Right now. All right. Let's. I also want to ask you about that IPO style launch that you had done some time ago. Has all of the paperwork that needed to be followed, has that been done? And is that something you're going to consider to do for other projects and other launches going forward?
I'm not quite sure whether, that's something we've only pioneered. I think there have been other developers before us who've done it. We just, because of our scale and our quality, tend to do them in a better manner. And we found they're quite successful, and I'm sure we'll do them in the future.
Let's talk about the business in London. What are your plans there? Is that is that particular arm? And then we also had some sort of news come out in the last 2 days about your ultra luxury business in India that you're now looking at as a separate vertical altogether. So tell us what your plans are for both of those businesses.
Lodha Luxury the Lodha Luxury collection is our new, like you said, ultra luxury, or I would say more importantly, great attention to detail and great personal involvement oriented business, which is based out of London. We really felt that London is the world's global capital in terms of ideas, in terms of aesthetics, and that's where the business is run out of. And it does developments all over the world. It does the most iconic, it takes the most iconic locations and creates, in our opinion, the most wonderful developments, which are not only physically great products or have the best finishes or the best design, but also great service. And so we've started off a new hospitality services company called Saint Amand, which is, we've hired people who've run India's topmost palaces, and they will cater to people who live at Lodha Luxury developments and really make them feel that every day and every evening and every morning is truly special and as great as it would have been in those historic times living in one of those palaces. So we've just about to start the first project under the Lodha Luxury collection, which is at Altamount Road in Mumbai, which is clearly India's or Mumbai's top. It's called Billionaires Row, if that's a true moniker. We'll do work only at such equally prestigious developments and equally prestigious addresses going forward.
So all of the new things you're doing with architecture and with design, whether it's at the World Towers, whether it's at Trump Towers, who are your partners, who are the partners you're working with in India to build a tower of that size and that height? Do we have the expertise? Is it still a case where you have to bring in all of the expertise from overseas? Are we catching up fast enough?
When we started first doing the first tall building, which was Lodha Bellissimo, that was about 200 meters tall this was 2006. People used to ask me, can you really build it? Do we have the expertise to build it? Will it be too windy at the top? Can people really see you're putting in these balconies? Can people really do we have X, Y, and Z? Will the lift stop in the middle, etc., etc.? All sorts of questions. And that's true. Every time you do something new, there are lots of questions, and the only way to answer the questions is to do it. I think the fact of the matter is Indians are great. We have great engineering skills. We have great ability to keep pushing and getting things done. We obviously involve a lot of foreign expertise because we don't want to make sure that we make all the mistakes they've made. So we use the best of their expertise. We have experts from all over the globe, the finest architectural brains, the finest engineering brains, the finest fire safety brains. We work with all of them, and they love working with us because they find very few companies which are so passionate about what we're doing. We put our family name on every development we do. This is not a shortcut. We can't get away with saying, no, wo to maine nahi kiya tha. Or so we're very proud of what we do, and we put in a lot of passion behind it. And we hope the reason why customers, last year we delivered 5,400 units. This year we delivered 6,000 units. And that's a staggering number by any standard in any part of the world.
That's wonderful. What's next for Lodha going forward? What spaces are you looking at? New launches? Is there land that you're going to develop that you haven't announced yet? Tell us what's going on.
I think you already have a lot of information. So most of it true, some of it speculation. But the business is growing well. This year we hope to get close to 9,000 crores of sales, which is about 15% higher than last year. And then it's 10,000 for the year for the next FY. Our London business is shaping up well. We'll start sales in this calendar year, and that's a significant and fair business, which also helps us diversify risk and get a lot of learning from a market which is a lot more evolved than Mumbai is. But with Mumbai, Pune, and London, we have a lot on our hands. Like we said, we're more and more getting focused on doing things, with more attention to detail, doing them just better. And the numbers and the values are ultimately an outcome. We don't chase numbers; they come.
All right, Abhishek. Many thanks for spending time with us, and good luck to you and to Lodha.
Thank you, Faye.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thanks.